So wget command we are going to use to download something from the internet we are going to use. So for example, I am going to install this particular git installation for my red hat. So you can go to github github installation website. From there you can get the package for red hat. So here it is showing Debian, Ubuntu, Fedora, Apache, this kind of all the separate flavors. So Red Hat is enterprise Linux. This one you can download a tarbar and build from the source. So you can download it. See here, you can download the tar file. So tar gz, you can see there are multiple files you can see here. Which one we required? The latest version. The latest version we required. So we can go to that one. So currently I'm which version I'm using. Let's see in the Windows git hyphen version 2.54. So let's search for 2.54. It is there. Target. You have to click on that and copy link address. Okay. Copy link address and then you have to download it by using wget command. So sudo sc hyphen. So I will create a directory for this. Make that. So opt is by default it will be there. Inside this one there is nothing is there. So I'm going to download it. Paste the link which I have copied. So it is downloaded. If I check, the tar file is downloaded. So to extract it, xv zf and git tar. So it will extract. So same command we have discussed in the previous classes. So this is the extract is done. Now you can see the inside file as well. This is how you can install the git software. So this particular example is not installing purpose. Mainly I am showing how we are going to use the wget command. So any file or anything, any software which you want to download it from the internet, then we are going to use the command called wget. So, so now if you check the git command, git hyphen version. Okay, git command is not found. Let's see one second. cd opt. So after I have downloaded it, let me check the installation. We are using the tar file installation here, but directly we can install the git by using the yum command as well. Where 20 local. So the file is already downloaded. Now what I have to do? I have to run the command sudo dnf. Dnf is the to install the package updates and all we are going to do. Group install So it is updating the updates. It is updating for the Linux operating system, that is the Red Hat. Meanwhile, I will go to the notes. So the wget command is non-interactive network downloader. It is used to download the files from that particular URL through internet. That is what we use. So percentage age of download completion, it will be shown in the same whenever we download it. Total amount of bytes downloaded so far. These details and all it's going to show when we use the wget command. And download speed, everything it will be show, like remaining time to download, current download speed, each and every details it will be showing once we run the wget command. If you run same command twice, the file name will be saved suffix with a dot one. So if you run the same command, it's going to download and it will start with suffix with dot one as follows. If you want to customize the downloaded output file name, then we can use wget -o, and what file name we want to write it, and we can use that URL. So if there is any download, it is failed in between, and if you want to continue once again, then you can use wget-c as well. So now let's see git version. So now the git version is downloaded, installed. Even if we want to make sure, we have to check it. Make prefix equal to user local all. No rule to make target all. So, so it is already done. That's why it is showing sharp. So the git is installed. So this is how you can use a wget command. Even if you want to install, for example, mainly we used to install Terraform or Maven. So Maven install. In the next class, we are going to see the Maven. So download Apache Maven. We have to go here. We can get the URL of the Maven application. By using wget only, we are going to download it. See here, there are links for binary tar Apache Maven 3.9.6 version. We can download it for Linux ARM 64, Linux 86. This is the one we can use tar and zip file. So whichever we want to download it, we can copy the link address and we can go to here wget and paste the URL. So it will download it. The HTTP request sent. Maven is installed and this is the size of that particular file, and zip is saved here. This is how it's going to use the, we are going to use the command called wget command. That's it. Next is record your session. So if you want to record your session, we are going to use a command called script. This command records your login session in the TypeScript file in the current directory. All the commands, their output and the error message are stored in the file TypeScript as a ASCII text file for later viewing. So if you want to store all the commands, whatever you are executing, then you can use the script command. So for example, I will run the command script here. So script is started, output log file in the TypeScript. So if you check here, ls, the TypeScript file is created. And if I run any command here, for example, I am going to cat, otherwise I will do cd git, and then I will do ls. Then again I will come back, and once again I will run the command wget. Wget. So any sample commands I'm going to execute. Now if I check the script, so whatever the script file is created, if you check the file, then it will be all the data whatever you are executing, you can check it. So if you uh, give enter, then only we can see exit that particular script. So until then the data will be present in the, see, these are all the data, whatever the output you received in that particular one, it's going to show. So because I have executed the command, multiple commands, that's why this output it is showing ls, then date command, this and all it is going to show. See, after executing cat, I have given script started. From here it is all the data is present. ls command. Then once again I move to git folder. Then I given ls. After that again I came back to opt folder. After that I came to opt folder, date command and cat. These are all the files, all the commands whatever we have executed it will show. So now if I want to exit it from that, it is script is done. So once we exit, do the command exit, then the script will be exit. So the file will be present here, but script will exit. Now if you run any command, then it's not going to store. So now I have given touch hello. If I check cat TypeScript, it won't store that particular command. See, after exit, cat like touch command has not stored because the script is exited. That is the use of script command. If you want to store your complete screen session, then you can use a script command. Spell and ispell are used to spell check a document. Spell produces a list of misspelled words, while ispell lets you perform the correction online. So with -a option, you can store all the session commands in customized file. So if you want to use in customized file, then along with the script, we can use the -a option. That is how we can use a script command, and I spell, that is for checking for the spelling mistakes. So if you use spell list of misspelled words, it's going to display. So spell command is not found. Now if I check spell, okay, command is not available even when we update. So spell and I spell commands are not available now. We can remove that. And session -a we can use to store all the session commands in the customized file. Instead of TypeScript, we can use the -a, and we can give the different file name. Then how to find Linux flavors and version. So there are multiple types of flavors we have discussed in the first session of Linux class. So in that one we have explained about there are multiple flavors like CentOS, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Amazon Linux and all. So how to know which particular flavor you are using in the Linux? By using this particular file, you can see whatever the your particular Linux server flavor. So in this one, I am using Red Hat, so I have to go to the Red Hat release. Cat etc Red Hat release. So this one you can see Red Hat Enterprise Linux release 10.2 is a version for that particular server I am using. So if you are using SUSE, then you can use this one. And if you are using any other flavors, in that one we have to check. So if you are using Ubuntu, then you have to go for the Ubuntu, it will be present. But currently in the etc, only Red Hat will be there because I am using Red Hat Linux flavor here. CD etc. If you go here, you can see which particular file is there. Red Hat is there means it is Red Hat. If there is any other uh, Linux flavor file are there, in that one it is there. So you can check cat slash etc star release. So by using this one, you can find out which release file is there here. It will contain all the data, that is name Red Hat, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS Fedora, this kind of the details, platform ID, then pretty name, what is the product version 10.2, all the details about Red Hat you can see in this particular command. So it's going to cat the that particular release, whatever the matching with the release file, it will display the content. Then next command is uname. So uname is to release the print the system information. So it will be Linux. It is going to, so if you want to display all the information, like you can get what is the IP address and when it is have executed, and what is the uh, 64 bit or 36 bit how we are using, and what other details you are going to get, like yes, if you give like yes, then it will show kernel name. If you give hyphen n, then node name. This kind of option will be, you can use it. Yes is kernel name, that is a Linux. And if you use n, node name, this is a node, nothing but server detail. And then kernel release, kernel version, machine, processor. If you use hyphen p, then processor details currently unknown. And operating system version, each and every details you can see here. Operation GNU Linux is operating system. Output version and info output or information we can get this one version 9.5. There is no warranty, the context performance law. So it is about output version information and exit, it will show. Next is, if you want to get the kernel version details in this particular path also you can get. This is a file cat proc version. So it's going to show the details about the Linux version 6.12, and all the details you can see here also. Kernel version details. Physical RAM, then you can find out this one d message. So in the physical, if you want to check out RAM details, then you can find out by using d message. So physical, normally we are going to get, but here I am using Linux as a virtual server. So I can use the command cat slash proc mem info. So this is a complete memory information about, you can see. So memory total, memory free, each and every details you can see here. So then next is, if you want to know about CPU names, then if you want to know CPU counts, then we are going to use this particular command, where we are going to get the proc CPU info. Inside the CPU info file, we can get all these details. Cat proc CPU info grep processor. So process 01. So if you want to word count list 2. So it will display the CPU's count. If you want to display the count, then we use a WCL. We have already seen about this command, word count. So if you want to display the CPU names, then we use grep processor. Processor 0, processor 1 is the CPU names we are using here. And to find the number of CPUs, you can use LSDV. Number of CPU we have already seen. There are 2 CPUs are there by using the word count. Next command is last show listing of last logged in user. So it's going to last logged in user. So it is going to show all the logged in is nothing but we have logged in multiple user yesterday as well. Tech Wonder, Babu, ECT user. This and all it's going to show the list of last logged in user. So if you use num, this is a count telling last how many lines to show, and if you use n, and that is also same. So if you use hyphen n, last failed to parse a number num. So it's not going to show. So if you use a num, this is a count telling last how many lines to show. So the particular number of lines to show. So 10 users. If you want to check the last 10 users, then you can use this particular hyphen n and a 10. If you want to display only 2, then you can use 2, the latest one, which you can see today. Logged in, still logged in, and this particular user, the logged in and log out time. Okay, this is how you can see the information about logged in user. By using these options, you can see like a file, specific file to search other than this particular any files you want to search for, then you can use hyphen f, and suppress the display of the host name field you can use, and display the host name in the last column. These and all options we can use it when required, but mainly we are going to use last option along with the user. So for example, you have logged in but you want to check which users are logged in this particular server, then we are going to use the last hyphen n and the number of users you want to see. The next is available shells in your system. If you want to check all available shells, then you can use cat etc shells. So etc shells is a file. We can in the etc directory shells is a file. You can see this is a available shells. Like shell is nothing but shell script. We are going to use bin sh, bin bash, user, bin bash, user sh. Mainly we are going to use a bin bash for default shell which we are going to use when we create a user. So yesterday we have seen etc pass wd. So has been the user which we have created yesterday. Check wonder. So bin bash by default we are going to use a bin bash as a uh, shell for the user whenever we create a new users. How to change the shell type? If you want to change the shell type, echo dollar, so it's going to show the your particular bash direct bash which we are using. By using $0 is the argument which we use bash. Currently I am using a bash. If I want to change to uh, different one, then we can use by using sh. Like if you want to use as sh, we can run to sh, then it will turn, and we can use a shell here, different one. So using shell changing is not required in the real time as well. We are going to use the mainly bash. Bash is nothing but, so you will get the question like you do you know shell script bash script? So both are same. You can answer I know the bash scripting. So that nothing but we are going to use the same commands whatever we use in the Linux, but it will be there in the file called sh. So always we are going to use the file called sh. In that one we are going to store the Linux commands to execute as a script. So yesterday I think we have discussed one of the script, right? Where sudo su, yeah, this one cat automate. So here I have simple I have given like adding a user and deleting a user, and I have executed through cron tab. So cron tab I have used and I have executed. So in this one shell script we are going to use, even I have used bin bash here as a bash scripting. Like that we can check the what type of shell types available and which is shell type I am using. And if you once you executed that particular sh, you can go to that particular shell, and if you want to exit from that shell, then you can type exit. In Linux by default it will be bin bash, and AX at default shell is user bin KSH. That is a AX we are going to use, but in the Linux we always use bin bash. The next is netstat. So these are another very important command. Netstat prints the information about Linux operating subsystem. So it's going to display the information about Linux networking subsystem. You can use the netstat command. So if you use netstat, it will display all the details about the networking system of the Linux. Your server, whatever the networking is there, it's going to show all the details, and also some of them we can't understand. It will be network related, active internet connections, and it will be having TCP, UDP, local IP addresses, foreign IP addresses. It will be there, and state it's going to show, and it will be there the flag, state, and what is the inode and path. It will be showing. So if you use options, we have multiple options as well. If you want to display only limited content, then you can use netstat -tu. So if you use TUPL, it's going to show the active internet connections. Only servers it's going to show. Proto receive queue, send queue. What is the send queue, receive queue, and local address? It's going to show that particular connection TCP, and foreign address state, and program name. What exactly process ID and program name it's going to show. So this is the command which we are going to use for the netstat. So here netstat we are going to use in the TUPL is nothing but T is means TCP. This is a TCP, and then U means UDP, and then L is listening only. Current listening it's going to show, and then it will display. Print is P is print. So it's going to show all the details about uh, UDP, TCP, and listening servers. So listening is nothing but currently active, which are active. It is going to show. In the real time, we are going to check this command to check the what and all ports we have connected to this server, what are which are available. It's going to list out. And if you want to check, for example, uh, the particular port number is available or not, then you can check 8080. So it is currently not using. So that's why it is not showing. So system service HTTPD. So it is disabled. So if there are any ports available for this one, which is connected from the different server in the networking, then we are going to use TUPL and TULNP command to check it. So TULNP, we are trying to check it. It is currently listening HTTP, which we have executed just few minutes back. I have started the service, and if I check the status, it is running 36 seconds ago. That's why the 80 port number is already running one of the service. That's why we can, when we check this particular port number, then we listening ports we are going to check it by using this command. And if you want any other ports like 8080, these kind of commands we are going to use. And next is we can use netstat -atn grep established. So if you want to check the established connections, so currently established connection, this is the one we have with the IP address and other details. This is the IP address of the server. This one only. 22 is a port number. 22 is a SH port number which we use by default. So the mainly port number you should remember 22, 80, 80, 80, These are all very important, which you should remember. You are going to get the question in interviews as well. 22 is the SH port number and 80 is for HTTP port number. So this is listing the established connection at the moment. If you filter by using ATN, A is showing all connections and T is filtered to TCP. T is TCP. Even if you use a TULN, LNP, it is T is TCP, U is UDP. So it is going to display. And next command is netstat -atnc. So it's going to display current live. So enables the continuous screen updates. So whenever it's going to checking for the listening ports and it will be updating every time. So you can see it is updating each and every time. So if you give the control C, it will exit. So that is the command which we use -tup netstat atnc netstat -atnc. This is for okay. Next is -an find. This particular command it's going to find the port which is available. So if you use netstat an find command. So find command we have already discussed. It is going to search for that particular keyword which we have given. So here I am going to use 8080. So no such file directory. So inside the file it's going to look for, but I don't have anything. So it is not going to show that particular 8080. So if you want to display all the ports which port is used by which process ID, then you can use a -a -n -o. So if you use -a, so it will display all the details about which port is listening and which is a TCP, which is UDP, and which is listening, which is established, connected, everything. All the details we can get it from ANO. So if you use 9080, so I think this one is not fine. We have to use the always grep to look for that particular port. You can use it TULPN. So this is the command where we are going to get the most of the questions in the interviews. So if you want to look for the network connections for the particular port, then which command you are going to use. So you can answer netstat -tulpn. So it's going to display the particular port we are going to check for the network connections, and it's going to display all the information about port, whether TCP, UDP, established connection, everything we are going to get it. The next command is calendar. So calendar display purpose we are going to use a cal. So particular information, particular month date, it's going to show by using calendar. If you want to display particular information, -help. So it will display if you use -1 -1, it show only a single month. By default, it will display same. If you want to display the 3 months spanning the date, then you can use -3. So it's going to display three, like one that side and one this side. It's going to show. Okay, 4 and 5 it is not going to show. It will display only 3. When we give the 3, it's going to show previous month, next month, and this month. And if you want to display months starting with dates, then you can use -n. So the 3 months it's going to display and it's going to show. If you give 5, it's going to display 5 months from now. So -n we are going to use. So if you want to display from this month to next 5 months, then you can use -n at 5. If you use -n and 3, next 3 months it will display. And if you want to display previous month and next month and this month, then we can use Just directly the -3 you can use. And other than that, you can use span -s. So span the date when displaying multiple months. And if you want to display Sunday as the first day of week, you can use s. Monday as first day of week, and you can use m. And all these options you can use it with the calendar command. So this is we are going to use mainly in the script itself, not individually we are not going to use any this command. So only we are going to use a shell script. Inside the shell script or some of the scripts we are going to use, so mainly calendar, then date commands. And next is clock. So it's going to determine the processor time. So I think clock will be available or not. Let's see. Clock. So it's display the processor time, correct exact time of the processor. Even whenever you execute, it's going to update it. See here, 13:22, 1 second. Here, 8 seconds. After 8 seconds, also it is displaying 09. This particular milliseconds it's going to show. So if you want to display the time of the processor, then you can use clock command. Next is history. It displays the recently executed commands. So if you want to display the any recent this one, especially my personally I'm going to tell history command is very helpful. So for example, uh, sometimes you are going to learn something and you execute in the real time as an emergency, and you don't note down the all the commands. So at that time, if you want to see all the commands whatever you have executed at particular issues, then you can run the history command and you can make a note of all the commands whatever you want to do. Okay, that is a history command. Typically, when you type history from the command line, it will display the command and the command number and command. For editing purpose, it may be beneficial to display the timestamp along with the command as shown below. So, if you want to display the timestamp, then you can use the this particular command export history time format. This particular command, if you display, it will display in the time format as well. But that is not mandatory. You can run history command. Next is this and all the input which we are going to see in the command itself. When we run the history command, it will display all the information about history. Next is service. We are going to see the service command we have already seen. To start the command, to start the service, we are going to use a service httpd start. To check the previous command history, we can use control p. And to check the previous command in history, then we can use the up arrow to view previous command and execute it. These all are information about history. Next is bash profile. So bash profile is another very important, where we are going to set the environment variable purpose we use. So if I check ls command here, won't show because it is a hidden file. It will be there in the home directory of the user. So this is a bash profile. This one we are going to discuss many times in the upcoming 2 to 3 classes. Whenever we install some application into the Linux server, we have to set the environment variables. For that one, we have to use bash profile. Here we have to set the environment variables, whatever the environment variables you want to set it up. So bash profile, history size, history file size. So if you want to update the control the total number of line in the history using history size, then you can use this particular content as well. So for example, you don't want to display all the commands, you have to set the limit, then you can use history size equal to 500, history file size equal to 500. So let me show you. 3 393 it is showing. So now I am going to update 395. sudo su hyphen. See, now you can see only 20 is showing here. If you run the command history, the latest command is showing, but previous commands it's not going to show when you update that particular bash profile page here. So if you want to display last 300, or if you want to display, for example, 400, you want to, not 400, 250, I will update now. Now it's again, it should show. Now it won't update because I used 202, it is there. Let's see. I'll go back, sudo su hyphen. So now if I run the history command, it will show. Oh, sorry. It will show 201 because the latest 200 is there. That's why after that only whatever the command you execute now, it will display. Before that it was there. It is cleared because I have given as a 200. That's why all the previous that one it is already deleted and it won't show. Only 200 was showing. Now I have updated to 250. That's why it is showing again. After 200 as well, it is showing 203 like that. So that is a, this file is very important, bash profile and bash rc, which we are going to use to set up the environment variables and to set up the configurations purpose we use. By default, history is stored in the bash history file. If you want to open the bash history file using the following command, we can open. So if you want to open the bash history, you can check it here. All the history. See, these are the commands which we have used. All the history we can check it here. Whatever the commands I have executed since yesterday. Not only yesterday, from long time, whatever we have executed, all the commands you can see here. Change the history file name using hist file. So if you want to change the history file, this particular bash history file, then you can add the following line to bash profile and relog into bash file. So you can file name, you can change it to this one, hist file root command line warrior, and then you can change the file name as well. But in real time it is not useful. We are not going to change anything for the history file because the same servers we are going to use multiple users, so we are not going to change anything. Eliminate the continuous repeated entry from the history using hist control. So in the following example, the date was, so if for example I have executed multiple times I have executed history command. So I want to remove that particular command in the history. So at the time you can use a hist control to ignore the particular commands by using history control. So if you use history tile command, then also it will display history tile hyphen 20. So it will display whatever the commands we have executed latest 20. So we have already discussed tile and head. So by using tile command, we can see the latest 10. If you use head command, the top 10 it's going to show. So export hist control ignored ups. Then we are going to export it and we can mention whatever the command uh, we have used. So let's see how it will display. See, when I executed tile 20, it is displayed bash history, bash profile 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and history command multiple times. Now I will execute this one, and now I will execute once again tile 20. Okay, I have to exit sudo su hyphen. Okay, it is not working. So history tile when we give export, it is showing only one date command in the history even after executing 3 date. No, it is not there actually. It is not updating. Erase duplicate. So if you want to erase it, then you can use this one only, not that. Sudo history. Ignore sudo su. Then when we give this particular command, it should display history. Okay, no, it's not working. So I think erase duplicate only it will work, but ignoring it is not working. So whatever the command which we give, it is showing same. Next is history command is done. So same we are going to use to check the all the history about the commands by using tile and head also you can use it to display all the commands. Next is force history, not to remember a particular command using hist control. So if you want to use hist control, if you want to display something which you don't want to see, then you can set up by using a hist control and ignore the space. Then disabling. So if you want to clear the history, then you can use the history-c. So it is going to clear complete history of your server, but you can't see again. But that one don't try in the real time. It will be helpful if you see the history. Next is disable the usage of history using hist size. So if you want to disable the history altogether and don't want bash shell to remember the command you have typed, then you have to set the hist size to 0. So currently you can see the hist size is 250. So if you make it as a 0, then it's going to delete all the history and it won't keep remember. If you run the command history, it's not going to show. So that one also we should not do every time, because the history we are going to keep remember, then only it will be helpful. If you delete the history, you can't take it back again. Next is history did not display anything. No. Ignore specific commands from the history using hist ignore. If you want to display and you don't want to display in the history, then you can use the hist ignore and mention whatever the command you want to ignore it. So this is the command which we can use, and you can go bash profile. You can add here. So for example, I don't want to add the command. Which command I don't want to? I'll use calendar ls. I'll use both, only two I will use, and I will save, exit, and I'll re-log in again. And if I check the history, calendar, still it is there. So if you want to display that particular one, and it should not display whenever we execute that particular command. So let's see once again, history. ls is there, calendar also there, cat dot bash profile. Okay. So if you want to reboot your system, then we can use the command reboot. So these also we are not going to use in the real time, but I have simply used here just to reboot my system is nothing but restarting the server. So it's going to restart again and we can log into the server. So the system will reboot now, read from the host, and this is it's going to disconnection. So if I go again, I have to get the details of server. So it will take time to connect again. It is refusing now. See, now it is connected. So once you've done the reboot, it will take time to reconnect again. Now I have connected. Now I can use the command as usual. Okay. So reboot the system, we are going to use the reboot command. If you use -f to reboot the system forcibly, so sometimes it is not going to stop or something, it is not working, then we can use the forcibly reboot. Power of Alt-P or init 0 shutdown. To shut down the system, we are going to use the power of command, which is not useful in the real time. Then type command, it is writes the description of the command type. So what is the command name we are going to provide? It's going to mention the what is the type of that particular command. So if you use type ls, it is not given, type cd. Cd is a shell built in. ls is alias ls caller auto. So if you use pwd, it is a shell built in we have used. Whatever the type of the command, it's going to display. So most of the command is shell built in only. It's going to display. If you use type git, git is for this one. That's why it is showing git is user bin git. And if you use maven, currently maven is not installed. That's why it is showing maven not found. So whatever the command is available here, it's going to show the particular what is the type of that particular command. If you use type command, type and command name. Then uptime shows the how long the system has been up. So if you use uptime, for since how long I am logged in, the load average one user up since 2 minutes. So just now I have rebooted, that's why it's showing 2 minutes only. So checking the Java version, whatever the application you install, so you have to use the command hyphen hyphen version with a name. So if you use git hyphen hyphen or hyphen, then version. If you use maven hyphen version. If you use java hyphen version. So this is a command which we regularly we will use to understand, to know about the version. So keystroke, if you want to use Control S, stop the scrolling of screen output, then we use Control S. To resume the scrolling of screen output, Control Q, delete button interrupts the command, Control D terminates the login session, Control H erases the text, Control L actually, if backspace doesn't work, Control H, and Control L if you want to remove the complete screen, then you can use clear the screen. Control L you can use. Control slash kills the command line without executing it, and Control Z alternative to enter. Control M also same, and restore terminal normal status. System send. This one is not there, so I will use Control plus L clear screen. Okay, next is dev null. So it will clear the contents of Mohan. This particular file it's going to clear or null, so it's going to clear the content of this particular file. So if you want to content you want to make a zero, then you can use this command. That is also not mandatory, you're not going to use. ls-t, this particular file, it will display the output in console as well as into file also. So whatever the content, if you want to display, then you can use t file name. Let's say 1 minute, ls-t automate.sh. So whatever the content it is there, it's going to show into the file. It will append to the file. If you use -a, it will append to the file. So all these files, it's going to, so when we use ls pipe symbol and t, so all these file names, it's going to add to the automate.sh. So it's going to store automate dead.letter logs.log protocols user.txt. All the file names it is stored in the automate.sh. So if you use -a, it will append the output. So for example, I will go to cd opt, and here I will do ls pipe symbol t dot dot slash automate tilt slash automate dot sh. So we have to use ls t hyphen a. So this particular file is there in the path of tilt. That's why I have given this path. Now if I enter this particular content, whatever the output of ls, it's going to store in the automate.sh, but it's not going to remove the content of that particular file because I have given hyphen a append. Append is nothing but it's going to concatenate the content. So if you check, whatever the data previously was existing, it is there, and again it is added. So that's why we can use hyphen a. Then lst hyphen a, this particular file you can use, it will append to the file. So whatever the file, multiple files you want to add the content, then you can use this all the files at a time. Next is jobs. So list the jobs that you are running in the background and foreground. So this one we use in the real time to display the jobs, whatever the jobs are running. Currently there is no jobs running in the foreground or background. That's why it is not displaying anything. Next is env, display the environment, set the environment for process. If you call env with no argument, it will display the environment. So this one, environment variables for the system, and you can use the all the you can check the all the environment variables, and also you can set the environment for the your system or server which you are going to set up while installing the Maven and other applications. So how to set the class path? So if you want to set the path, then we use export or echo path. So if you use echo dollar $path, it will display the path of your server. This is the path, and also where we are going to display set the path, cat bash rc ls-a. So this is a file bash rc bash cat dot bash rc. So here you can see path dollar home local bin dollar home slash bin. So we are going to set the environment variable for Java, for Maven, Tomcat, other applications while discussing that classes. How do you see Linux server system reboot history? So you can see the last reboot. So if you recently I have rebooted, so let's see if I give the reboot, so it will display last reboot 23 here, June 23, 13, 37. If I check who reboot, not showing anything. Who hyphen system boot. This is happened. The details about the reboot which happened. So we have to give the who boot only. And if you give who hyphen b, provides the same information, which is like system reboot date and time it's going to display. So if you these and all we have already discussed, but same we have given the questions. display top files or directories taking your disk space in current directory. So if you want to check the top 5 files taking the your disk space, so you can use this particular command. It will display only for your current directory. So if I go back here and if I execute here, it will display this particular 9 MB Apache Maven DevOps folder, new folder. So it's going to display the disk space taken top 5 files or directories. And if you use a tree command, it will list the content and directories in the tree like format. I have already discussed this one. So all the folders and files it will display like this will be main directory, and if you inside that one what is the subdirectories, and again subdirectories is whatever is present, like that it will display in the tree format. So this is the all the about commands, and at the end I have given if we face some of the errors. For example, user add, the issue occurs if there is a password lock or password file in the etc directory. These type of files will create when someone must have run the user add command and it does finish correctly. Then we are going to face the issue as password lock. So exit from the terminal and login once again, then it will work. So locking a password, locking the user, as we know already, chase command we can use, and we can set the expiry date for the user by using E. E is the expiry date. You can use change hyphen L tech wonder permission denied because I am running from the normal user, not super user. Chase hyphen L tech wonder. So it will display password expires and other details. Yesterday, I think for someone we have given expiry date. So Babu, I have given the expiry date as today, as yesterday. That's why it is deleted. Now I am unable to see that user. Ankit also not there. So we can set up the password and also we can set up the account expiry. So account expiry I have given here May 2nd, and password expiry is never. So by using the change hyphen E account expiry, we can set it up. That is how we can use. And user mode hyphen S no login. So you can use the no login. So by using this one also you can log the user. That is how you can log the users. F disk stand for fixed disk. So formatting the disk is most commonly used command line based disk manipulation, where we are going to use to fdisk command. We can view, create, resize, delete, change, copy, and move partitions on the hard drive using its own user friendly text based menu driven. By using this one, we can see all the disks. Let's see. So it's going to display all the information about formatting disk. You can see device, start, end, sector, size, and type of the disk. All the information you can see here. Next is cut. Cut command is we are going to use to remove sections from each line of files. So if you want to cut something, the each line of file, then you can use cut file. So for example, C4 I have used with the C option. Cut will cut out exact like specific character in the input lines. This will display the fourth character from the each line of a file. Let's see how it will display. I will do ls cat. I'll go to ls cat hello.html. So here these many are there. I'll use cut hyphen c3 hello.html. So it's going to cut the first three characters of each file, each line. So first three it's going to display whatever it is there, D, T, E. So it's going to display the particular lines, whatever the number we have given. It's going to cut it and it will display. But in the inside the file, it will be there same as usual. Nothing will be changed. If you use hyphen C1, hyphen 3, it will extract the first three characters of each line from a file. So it's going to extract the first three characters from the each line. And if you use hyphen C1, hyphen 3, then when you don't specify a number before or after hyphen, then it will print entire lines as follows. So whatever the line it's going to display, if you want to, then no need to give any number, then it will display all the content. So same command I have given using the grep, like searching the keyword by using grep command. Next is rsync. So rsync is real time we are going to use, because we have to copy something or syncing from one server to another server, then we use rsync. Utility is used to synchronize the files and directories from one location to another in an effective way. So if you want to copy from one server to another server by using rsync command, we can use it. Backup location could be on the local server or a remote server. You can take the backup, then we have to sync it. So it will check for the changes and it will do the sync. So there are multiple options we can see. Enable the compression, we can use Z. Verbose, we can use V. Indicate recursive, we can use R. And archive mode, if you want to take it, then you can use A. And if you want to enable a secure remote connection, then we can use the SH option where we regularly use. And delete the files created at the target, then you can use delete existing updates only existing files at the target, then you can use existing. Then max size, you can set it of the file size, how much size it should be present. Or if max size is already reached, then it's not going to complete the command. This is the command we can use. rsync -azvr, then whatever the source which we want to get it, and destination path we are going to save. So it's going to sync the source and target directories. The next is the question. I have a directory which contains files with different kinds of extension. Every day a file with .log gets added to it. I want to extract the file with .log extension which is created with today's date. So for that one you can use the command ls grep-e date, the particular date, year, month, date we are going to provide, and grep.log. So it's going to list. First command is ls, it's going to list off the file and it will search for the grep using -e. The expiry date should be this one, whatever the date we are going to provide, and again it will search for the .log extension files. If the date is in format year, month, date, which is not part of the log file, then we can use mtime. So whatever the minute we can give -1, and hyphen name, whatever the name it should be matching with the log, ending with a .log. Then it will display that particular files modified time last 1 day, then it's going to display. Next is test command. It is going to use to see an expression is true, and if it is true then it will return 0, otherwise it will return as non-zero. So we are going to use the test command in the script where we are going to check for the files or running the something commands, and if it is showing it is as true, then it will return as 0, otherwise it is going to non-zero for a false. So this and all we are going to use with the shell scripting, this kind of. So this one I'm not going to discuss because shell scripting again it will be more we have to discuss in the real time where we use in the Jenkins. We will discuss how we can use a test as well. Test and a read we can use together. So for example, here given it is going to show the output, whatever the content here given, the shell script. So if you take test complete file, it's going to test the file dollar file, and then echo file has a read access. If not, then if it is like when you use the test and value of that file, this particular content. So let me check the test command whether it will work or not. Test hyphen hyphen. So test command is not available at all. So we no need to discuss that one for now. That's it. That is about Linux we have completed. So if you want to how to run last executed find command in Linux, then find will repeat in the last find executed. It can be using exclamatory, can be used with the any command to invoke the previous run of that command. So if you want to invoke the previous command output, if you want to repeat it, then you can use the exclamatory with the find command, then it will work. So today we have discussed from wget. So from wget we have discussed all the commands will be more of the networking part we have discussed, and some of them very important as I mentioned. So you have to learn that along with mainly netstat command is very important. Netstat history command, wget command, then clock, calendar, date, then environment variables. These are all very important. So you can prepare well. So that's it about Linux. These same commands we are going to use with the Linux servers, because from tomorrow we are going to see Maven. So Maven installation in the Windows as well and Linux as well. Both I am going to explain real time how we use in the Linux, how we use in the Windows, and then same Tomcat and Sonar Cube in the Linux and Windows installation, and how we are going to use in the real time. That's it about today. Thank you.